hey, what to do when bigger unpleasant emotions arises when you're doing something that you wanted to do, something that that it was your desire for a long time, and now you're doing it, and suddenly everything arises and it's intense, and you maybe don't know what to do with it and how to deal with it, or you just feel maybe in between. Is that really for me? Is that really my purpose here? Why does it have to be in a way so difficult? uh, I'm in Leipzig. I had a project here these days, and it happened to me. Massive emotions arised, and it was probably a week ahead of the project that I started to feel these sensations. And when it happens, it's always quite unpleasant. And sometimes, of course, it's easier to go through, and sometimes it's really quite a massive package to deal with. But I'm just going to share my story because I was working in with a radio choir here, and that was my desire for quite some time. I wanted to do this, and I love to do this, and I have a lot of experience. And of course, when this emotion starts to rise, you can always choose many paths. But I think for me, it's the only path now is to go through and to try to not to take it personally and not to blame myself, not to judge myself, and really just being aware of it, and sometimes just breathing it through and just making it step by step. So before the first rehearsal, I felt a lot of sensations in my body, and when I was going there, when I was walking to the first rehearsal, I just thought, oh my God, why, and of course, the first thing is, I really become aware of the emotion. Then I really go into my body and start to feel where is it. And then I also analyze what's going on in my head regarding thoughts, regarding the stories, regarding all these things. And I was also aware that whenever something arises, that it's also a blessing, even though at that moment I also am not always in the position where I say, "Oh, thank you for this gift of feeling these sensations." It can be sometimes, come on, come on, I don't need this right now. But of course, it's a human thing. And when I talked to my friend, she really said so many good things. The first thing is, one is, of course, what I'm doing and my experience, and knowing what I can do, and knowing that I studied the score, nor knowing that I did the score, knowing that I'm absolutely competent to be here. But the second one, of course, is this more, let's call it animal perspective. It's a new environment, it's a new working place, it's a new level. And of course, it starts to rage, it starts to protect in a way, and it's like, when I stepped into the room, I said even to the choir, about the sensations that I have had before. Why am I doing this? Because so many times, even I'm doing this maybe for my kids, even though I don't like to say that I'm doing something for the kids, because first and foremost I'm doing it for myself, and then I can show this to my kids, and then they can choose if they're going to implement this in their lives or not. But the thing is that so many times you have these movies and you have all this stuff, how all these heroes, they just don't fear anything. They just don't, it's like this kind of picture, and it's not like that. not always, if you didn't have as a child some kind of experience of what you want to live now, some things can be extremely frightening. But the most important thing for me now is, am I going to give up? Am I going to quit because of that? Or am I really going to implement whatever I'm doing to go through this and do it anyway? Because immediately when I started the rehearsal, I am in this my known thing. I'm in the music. I'm doing it. I love it. I love it. I love every minute of it. The ensemble is so good. They just reacted so well. It was so inspiring for me to work with them. And of course, Karel Orff, Carmina Burana, majestic piece. So it was amazing. It was just that the moments or hours even or days before the rehearsals were just, there were some sensations coming up that were sometimes very, very overwhelming. And what I want to say is that I did everything I could. And, that's why I am meditating. That's why I'm doing all this work. Because now going through this stuff, it's different than it was before. I didn't get overwhelmed by it. I was constantly aware of what's going on. And it's not an easy thing to do it, because it's a massive sensation. At some point you just have this feeling that you're the sensation, or am I really in the right place right now? Is that really my purpose? But of course, when you come out of it, you say, of course. And the thing is that it's the most courageous thing that I can do. And it's the most courageous thing that I can show even to my kids, that it's a normal thing, that sometimes I also feel a massive fear because the environment is new, because everything is new. And there is a mechanism there that wants to protect me, because it's this big unknown. But that's exactly the life that I want to live. And that's why the process, how I'm doing it, as I said, sometimes, the first rehearsal, when I went to the first rehearsal at the end, my brain said it was literally the sentence, just survive this rehearsal. But the intention was that I am enjoying, that I'm making connection. And that was the intention. The intention was leaving this place without any expectations, but just making the authentic connection, first to myself and then to others. And that was it. So it went great. It went great. But the thing is with the fear, and I was talking about it before, but we are very different. For me, I just start to feel a lot of the body sensations. So, if I use now this term, it's more about how can I be greater than the body. And first and foremost is really seeing what's going on, what do I feel. Then really I'm checking it in the body, I'm breathing it through, and then I really check all the stories, all the thoughts that are coming, that are rising, what's going on, to see a little bit this picture of the protective mechanism, let's say it so. And then to keep to stick with accepting everything that is. And luckily, I also have a chat with my friend. She did this Sedona method on me. And it's really, is it welcome? Is it allowed? And I could notice that I want to push away a little bit of this a bit unpleasant sensations. That I still had a little bit resentment towards it. And then when we really worked on accepting and allowing everything that is, so the best scenario, the worst scenario, and all this stuff in between, I really started to, it really helped me to just go there and just whatever popped up at that moment, it was just welcomed and allowed. And the goal was planning the first 5 minutes of the rehearsal in my head, because of course the brain wants to know how you're going to work the third hour, how you're going to finish the rehearsal, or what are you going, all this stuff, even when you can't sleep during that, it's all this stuff in your brain. But just for me, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and trying really just to come back and listening um, and doing the thing that I can do best. So that's one of the things. That's the thing, how to. It's a normal thing. It doesn't happen always, but it happens when you're on the edge of something new. And I think the one thing that really also was lovely to hear from my friend, it's new opportunity can be also a danger, you know. And we are talking now about subconscious here. It's just really the new opportunity can bring up these emotions of, oh my God, I'm losing my safety. But as said, for me it was always how to go through, how to not not give up, especially not giving up on myself, and how to not put any stories. Oh my God, now you feel the fear. Oh, it's a completely normal thing when you're doing something new, when you're doing something that matters to you, when you're doing something that it's an expansion of what you did. And then of course we are different, we are choosing different paths, and we're choosing different challenges. And but the most important for me is that this is no longer stopping me, or I'm no longer believing the stories that are coming. And sometimes for me it's really just breathing, going through. And yeah, like for the first rehearsal, the intention, I just see myself surviving the rehearsal, and then I start. Sometimes even I manage to laugh, even though this time I probably didn't laugh for a few days. Before I was really just let's go through. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm joyous. I did my best, and at the end of the day, I did enjoy so much. It's a new experience. Yeah, it's beyond of what I can describe. I'm very very satisfied and very very happy. I met so many wonderful people, and we managed to create music on such a high level. So it's really really very good. And yeah, the definition is fear doesn't define us. Fear is just a symptom that something really means a lot to you, and it's just something that tries to protect you in some moment. Uh, but being greater than fear is not pushing it away, not thinking badly about yourself because you're feeling these sensations, but being kind to yourself and not going into the stories, just observing them, and just maybe laying down and feel it through the body, and doing it anyway. Doing it anyway. Thank you for being here with me. I'm sending you much love, and I encourage you to share what did you overcome. Or I don't really resonate with overcome, it's more going through. And which dreams or desires, or and not ego things, but something that you really know that you want to do, that you're good at. What did you achieve in these days by going through fear and living your highest purpose. All the best to you. Bye.